Good afternoon, and welcome to the first webinar in our Digital Spring Cleaning Technology Tuesdays online series featuring Daniel Jones, where this afternoon you will learn all about organizing your email inbox and everything having to do with email. We're happy to have you join us. I am Jennifer Lisinski, Vice President of Marketing for St. John's, and I'm serving as your host today as well. I'd like to remind everyone of a few logistical items before we move to today's webinar. Session attendees are automatically muted upon entry. Please stay muted to ensure the best experience for all guests. If you have a question during the session, please type them into the chat where they will be compiled by the host during the presentation for review in the Q&A portion. The Q&A portion will follow the formal presentation, and you will also be able to ask questions during that time just spontaneously in the chat function as well. If you're having any problems connecting during the session, please also use the chat functionality to contact me. As possible, when not presenting, the host is going to work to solve any minor connection issues the best that I can. We certainly hope you enjoy this seminar and webinar. Sessions like these are just an example of the types of offerings we provide residents of St. John's. There is always something to do and learn at our communities. I encourage you to check out our website as well at stjohnsliving.org, which is a great resource of information about the benefits of independent living and the multitude of amenities we have to offer. Tours are a great way to experience us firsthand, and we're open for in-person and virtual tours. We'd love to host you. Stephanie, Dawn, and Cindy of our sales team are your contacts for visiting us. Their contact information was previously provided in the pre-show slides, which are part of this recording as well, and we will put that up at the end of our workshop also. Now allow me to introduce our main speaker, what you're all here for this afternoon. You are well positioned to learn a great deal today. Daniel Jones is an independent instructor providing older adults with computer, internet, and social networking skills to enhance their lives and keep them connected. His computer courses and seminars break down the barriers of fear and intimidation, often associated with learning new technology. He provides elders with a greater understanding of the options and tools available through a patient, fun, and easy to learn approach. Daniel provides both private, in-home one-to-one lessons, as well as group instruction at a variety of senior communities and libraries in the Rochester area in upstate New York. He has taught 7,182 people to date. In 2010, Daniel received his certificate in gerontology through St. Fisher College and is a certified Eden Alternative Associate. This year, Daniel will reach 11 years of business. Oh, that's great. Congratulations, Daniel. Now, thank you again for spending some time with us this afternoon. It's great to have you here. You're going to learn a lot. Hope you enjoy the workshop. And now I'm going to turn it over to Daniel.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for having me. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. Oh, let me get out. Everyone can hear me, correct? Nod your head if you can hear me. Awesome. Okay, great. We'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so first off, I just want to say thank you to St. John's for having me back. I think this might be maybe the third round that we've done here via Zoom, and I'm thrilled to be back and working with Jennifer and everyone at St. John's. So today we're going to talk about everything regarding email. Well, everything, I don't know, it's kind of a big, we're going to talk a lot about email. Let's put it that way. So let's just go through the agenda real quick. You all obviously must have email because that's the only way you could have gotten to this link to this meeting. So I'm going to assume you all have email, but I will talk with you just kind of the basics of how email works. I'll share with you lots of different email terms. I'll talk about how to send, receive, save messages and attachments, how to organize your email, how to create folders within your email. One of the challenges with teaching so many people at once is that everyone is at a different level. Some of you have been using email for 20 years. Others may have only been using email for a couple of months. So that's always kind of a challenge for me but I'll do my best to hopefully get everyone engaged. And towards the end, I'll talk about email safety, just some things that you should be aware of, some examples of some scams, and just kind of talk about that openly. And during this whole thing, I'll be sharing with you some tips and tools and settings that you can set up for your email to do the things that you want to do. Let's see. So we are scheduled to go for 90 minutes. We're going to cover a lot of information in 90 minutes. I'll go as slow as you need me to go. If I'm going too fast, just raise your hand and Jennifer will tell me to slow down. I've got a few videos I'm going to share with you, but today is mainly me discussing, giving you demos on email and all the various things that I mentioned earlier. And you'll walk away with a greater understanding of email, and we'll have some fun along the way. So first, I want to talk just kind of on a very, very basic level how email works. Email, the term email stands for electronic mail, and without a doubt has become the most common form of online communication. Even before social media and Facebook and Instagram and all this, email was and still is really the most common form and the most popular form. You can compose a message, you can send your email to one person, you can send it to a group of people, you can reply to emails, you can forward emails that have been sent to you. And an email address gives you an online identity. And what I mean by that is, in the past, when I've taught people who are kind of brand new to the internet, I've had a lot of people say to me, I don't want to get email, I don't want to do social media, I just want to get on the internet and Google stuff. And that's fine. But if you don't have an email address, then it's not a two-way form of communication. You really need an email address so that you can join websites, shop online, join social media networks if you want to conduct business. With an email, it allows you to have a two-way conversation, taking part in online discussions, chat rooms, blogs, online group forums, and so on. An email address identifies an email box or electronic box in which email messages are delivered. The way I kind of compare an email address or email is very much like the US Postal Service. You need an address, a physical address of where you live in order to receive mail from the post office. It's the same thing with email, except it's all done online. So here is one of my email addresses. And to kind of break out what we're looking at here, the Bookham Dano part is considered what's called my username. So when I signed up for Gmail, I don't know, 18 years ago or however long Gmail's been around, when I first signed up for Gmail, I was hoping I could get danieljones@gmail.com. Well, that was going to be impossible because there are thousands, if not millions, of Daniel Joneses in the world. So getting danieljones@gmail.com, I couldn't get because someone else got that username before I did. So I typed in danjones@gmail.com, taken. dgjones@gmail.com, taken. I tried every variation of Daniel Jones and DG Jones and everything for gmail.com, and they were all taken by some other person in the world. So I thought, okay, my nickname is Dano. I'll go with Bookham Dano. We all remember Hawaii 5-0, and he would say Bookham Dano. So I thought, okay, I'll come up with Bookham Dano. And Bookham Dano was not taken. That is my username. That is unique to me. There is no one in the entire planet that has bookhamdano@gmail.com. It is unique to me. So my username is unique. The other part of the email address is what's called the company server. This is where your email lives. Who manages? What's the company that manages your email for you? So my username is bookemdano. You want to email me at gmail.com. Gmail is a Google product. So to look at some other email addresses, bookemdano2, djones512 at rochester.rr, and so on. These are some of my other email addresses. The end part is where my email lives, who the company who stores my email for me. So that's kind of the anatomy of an email address. Email addresses do not need to be case sensitive. So if I type in a capital B or a capital E, it doesn't make a difference. Email addresses are not case sensitive. What's important with email addresses is that you can't have any spaces. And you have to include the @ symbol. If you don't include the @ symbol, the email will not go through. So I use the US Postal Service as the kind of the example of how email works. You have an address, you have a mailbox. You take mail, you put it in your mailbox, you turn up the flag on your mailbox, that gets picked up by a truck that delivers it to a local postal service or postal area. It bounces around with several mail trucks until it finally reaches its destination. And in this case, John Smith wants to mail Betty Jones a letter. That's how it works. We're all familiar with this process. It's the same process with email. The key is the address. You have to have an email address. And if that email address is not typed in correctly, it will not be delivered. So you take the basic same concept, but instead of the postal service, your email is delivered via the internet. And your email that gets sent out is going to travel through the internet, is going to bounce to your internet server first, and then it might bounce around to 1 or 2 or 50 different internet servers globally until it finally reaches its destination. And the beauty of email is that you can open your email on multiple devices. And of course, the best thing about email is that it takes a matter of seconds as opposed to days to deliver a message. So we're all familiar with that. We all know kind of how that works, but you may not have kind of thought about it, actually. A lot of us just kind of do it without really thinking too much about it. And this type of email is called cloud email or web-based email. Gmail is definitely probably the most popular form of cloud-based email out there. And for purposes of today, when I'm giving you my demo, I'm going to be giving you a demo in Gmail. I don't know how many of you have Gmail accounts. Some of you might have Yahoo or AOL or Roadrunner or Hotmail or whatever it might be. But fundamentally, they all work the same. But we'll talk about Gmail. The reason it's called Gmail is because it's from Google. Gmail is one of the 80 or so free services that Google provides. Gmail is email. Many people, not so much anymore, but maybe up till about maybe a few years ago, people would say, well, I don't have an email account. I have a Gmail account. Well, Gmail is email. The G just stands for Google email. Gmail is free. The great thing about Gmail, because it's from Google, you have what's called a search-based service built into your Gmail, so it's much easier to find your particular email if you have loads and loads and loads of email in your inbox. Because Gmail is web-based email service, It means you can access your email from any computer or smartphone anywhere in the world, 24/7, 365. That is the real huge benefit of cloud-based or web-based email like Gmail, AOL, Yahoo, is that you log into your account on any computer, on any device, anywhere in the world, and you can access your email. I've got a short video here that talks about email, talks about kind of how it works, and also talks about the difference between kind of the old way email used to work. And when I say old way, I mean Roadrunner email or Frontier email. If you are a Roadrunner email user or a Frontier email user, you are using a kind of, what I say, kind of an archaic form of email. And I'll talk about that a little bit in a little bit, but let me show you this video.
Before she knew what happened, the damage was done. Pam's thoughts raced. Her first thought was email. Those messages mattered. The next day, she went to her IT team and asked for help. When the discussion turned to email, she was relieved. Her email was safe, but she didn't really know why. Her IT pro explained it with a quick overview. He said that when she uses her computer to access a web page or do anything online, it connects to computers called servers. These servers connect her to everything she needs, including email. Every person with an email address has a mailbox on a server. When email is sent, the servers make sure it gets to the right address. But it's not that easy. Email doesn't always work the same way. For example, in the past, her email lived on the server until she checked email. Then it would be moved to her computer and deleted from the server.
Roadrunner.
Her computer held it all, which meant everything could be lost if something happened. Pam knew that feeling. Nowadays, it's different. Her email lives on the server and her computer at the same time. And they work together. When she deletes or organizes email on her computer or device, the server makes the same changes. This means she can also manage email on multiple devices without confusion. And that's the key. Because servers can keep email safe and organized, she has more freedom. And that's not all. Email on the server also means she can use a website to get to her email. This is called webmail, and it allows her to log into her mailbox from any computer or device with an internet connection. For Pam, that's serious freedom. She can use her computer at home or work, her device on the road, and even use shared computers when traveling. And the whole time, the server is keeping everything in line and safe from spilled coffee.
So kind of the old way and the new way, and I always pick on Roadrunner and I always pick on Frontier. With Frontier and Roadrunner email, it's fine if you have one device. If you only use a laptop and you don't have a smartphone or have a tablet or anything like that, and you're only using email for one device, Roadrunner is great, Frontier is great. The trouble is when you have multiple devices, and most of us nowadays have multiple devices. We have a smartphone and we have a laptop, and we might have a tablet. And what happens is with Frontier and Roadrunner email, when you open that email on one device and manage that email on one device, let's say I'm on my phone and I spend an hour on my phone cleaning up my inbox and really cleaning everything up in my Roadrunner or Frontier email. I've got to do that same thing on my laptop or on my tablet. If I have multiple devices, all the time that I've spent cleaning up my email on one device, I've got to do that on multiple devices as well, because it's not web-based email like Gmail and AOL and so on. And I'll talk about this a little bit more. So some terminology. I'm going to kind of go through this quick because I'm going to be demoing this, but I did want to talk about just some basic terms that, again, we probably all know, but we're going to go through them anyway. Inbox. What is your inbox? It is an electronic folder where all your email that is coming into you is stored. So in this example, I've got a window here of my Gmail. Here's my inbox. An important thing that a lot of people don't realize, the number that appears next to your inbox isn't the number of emails you have in your inbox, it's the number of unopened emails in your inbox. So I have one unopened email, and it's this one right here. Another way you can tell an open email versus an unopened email is that the text is bolder. When it's bold like this, it means I haven't opened it. So I don't have one email in my inbox. I have one unopened email in my inbox. I actually have right here 235 emails in my inbox. So your inbox is where the email comes in and is stored. Your sent folder is where all outgoing emails are stored. So it doesn't matter if you're in Yahoo or AOL or Gmail, we all have an inbox, we all have a sent folder, we all have a drafts folder, and so on. Your sent folder holds every email you've ever sent. As you can see right here, I've got 4,148 emails in my sent folder. I could go back in time. I could click this back button right here. I could go back to the very first email I've ever sent. So it's kind of a backup, so that if someone says to me, hey, Daniel, I never got the email. You said you're going to email me yesterday. You never sent it. I can go in my sent folder and say, yeah, I did send it. I sent it at 6:53 a.m. Drafts. A draft is a preliminary version of an outgoing email. The drafts folder contains all emails that have been written but not sent. So in my drafts folder, I have 17 emails that I have not sent. I started to type up an email and I never hit the send button. I see a lot of numbers. I see some really high numbers when I help people with their email. You think you hit the sent button and you didn't. So it basically gets stuck here in the drafts folder until you either delete it or you hit the send button. So if someone says you never sent me an email 2 weeks ago when you were supposed to, it might be stuck in your drafts folder because you actually never hit the send button. Believe me, it happens. Spam. What is spam? Originating from the name of Hormel's canned meat, spam now also refers to junk or irrelevant email that you did not sign up for. My spam folder is clean. It says right here, hooray, no spam here. So my spam is clean. Trash. Trash folder contains all the emails the user has deleted. Like a real trash can, emails in the trash folder can be stored until the trash is empty. So what that means is if you open up an email and you hit the trash button or you hit the delete button and you say, oh, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to trash it. It's still there. It's in your trash folder and it will stay in your trash folder until your trash folder is emptied. So in a sense, this provides kind of a backup so that if you accidentally delete an email that you didn't mean to delete, it will sit there in your trash folder until your trash is emptied. If you are a Gmail user, your email that is in your trash will be deleted in 30 days. So if I went and I deleted a bunch of email today, in 30 days, those emails will be permanently gone. So Gmail or Google basically empties my trash, not every 30 days, but every 30 days after I have trashed an email. So they clean it up for me automatically. I can change this if I want to make it 60 days or 90 days or whatever. I don't know if Yahoo or AOL has that feature. My guess is they probably do, but I'm not sure. The to field of an email contains the email address of the people you are emailing. All recipients in the to field are visible to all the recipients in the email. The subject field is where I type in a very short summary of what my email is about. I have received many emails in my time where a person types the entire email right in the subject field. So the subject field should be very, very short. A quick summary. The body of the email is the main part of the email message that contains the messages, text, images, and other data, such as any attached files or anything like that. The CC and BC, no, the CC and the BCC fields. These are additional fields that you can use. CC stands for carbon copy. The term comes from carbon copying, in which a piece of carbon paper copies writing from one paper to another, often used when filling out forms. So in the past, when you would fill out forms, or maybe a waitress would give you a carbon copy of your receipt, that's what's called a carbon copy. If you want to send the message to one or more other recipients, you can use the CC field to add additional addresses. And I will show you this when we move forward. How this would work is, let's say that I want to email Jennifer a follow-up email regarding this seminar that we had today, but I want to include all of you in the email. What I would do is, since Jennifer is the main recipient of the email, she would go in the to field, and all of you would go in the CC field. So basically, I'm emailing Jennifer, but I'm copying you all in on the email. BCC stands for blind carbon copy. It's similar to CC, except that the email addresses of the recipients specified in the BCC field do not appear to the recipient's email. So it's blind. If I emailed Jennifer in the to field and put all of you in the BCC field, she would not be able to see all your email addresses. It's blind to her. I've included you all, and you all get the email, but she doesn't know that you've been included because she can't see your email addresses. So the recipient does not know that the other email does not see the other email addresses. And I'll show you an example of this when I do a demo. An attachment. This is probably the number one thing that I get asked a lot with emails. How do I send an attachment? How do I send a photo in an email? An attachment, or I should say an email attachment, is a computer file sent along with an email message. One or more files can be attached to any email message and can be sent along to the recipient. Most of the time, the type of attachments that we are sending are photographs, or maybe a link to a website or a video, or you might attach a Word document or a PDF file. These are individual files that you can attach to an email when you send it to somebody. And the universal symbol for attachment is a paperclip. If you see a paperclip icon somewhere in your email window, that is what you click on to send an attachment. So in this case, if I'm sending an attachment using Gmail, the paperclip is right here, along with my other menu items. One thing that's really important when you send an attachment is make sure that you reference that you've attached something in the message. Lots of times people will send me attachments, but they haven't told me that they've sent me an attachment. And I might miss it. I might not see the attachment. So whenever you're going to send an attachment, just reference it in the email. Reply is to respond to an email sent to you by simply clicking on the reply button to begin typing your message. The reply button is usually located at the bottom of an email. Forward an email refers to the operation of resending an email message sent to you by someone else. If I'm forwarding an email to you, that means I am resending an email that has been sent to me. Usually, I shouldn't say usually, lots of times jokes are sent this way. You know, my friend will send me a funny joke and I want to forward it on to another friend. So I forward the email to them. And the forward button is usually located next to the reply button at the bottom of your email. An email signature. An email signature is a block of text that automatically appears at the end of an outgoing email message. It is used to provide recipients with your contact details, such as your name, maybe your job title, phone number, email address, and so on. So every time I send an email, my signature automatically appears at the bottom of my email. I have set that up in my preferences, in my settings. If we have time, I can show you how to do that. But it's really handy because I don't have to, in every email, I don't have to rewrite this information. I can just have it there automatically and people can just simply click to get to my website, or they have my phone number right there in front of them. I don't have to manually type this every single time. An emoticon is short for emotion icon, and it is a pictorial representation of a facial expression or emotion. And emoticons are made out of punctuation marks or different keys on your keyboard. And emoticons are used to express an emotion. So in this case, and what you're looking at is you're kind of tilting your head to the left and you're saying, okay, this is a colon and a parentheses. So if I put this at the end of my email, it means I'm sending you a smile or a frown. And they get a little bit tougher as I proceed. This is a laugh, or I'm very happy. This is I'm crying. These are little teardrops coming from my eyes. I'm angry. Or I might be winking or joking with you. So these are used at the end of or during, as I'm typing. If I'm saying to you, Oh, I really loved your birthday party. I had such a great time. I might add this at the end. So these are emoticons. Emojis do the same thing. The difference is an emoji is an actual image. It's not made from a keystroke on your keyboard. It's a small digital image or symbol used to express an emotion or an idea. Emojis are heavily used in texting, but you can also use them in email as well. And there are lots of different, it's not just facial expressions. There's all different facial expressions, but there's also animals and vehicles and cars and objects. It just depends on what it is that you are doing. So lots of times, if I want to meet a friend out for a drink and I'm either going to email them or text them, I'm not going to say, hey, do you want to go out for a beer? I'm just going to send them a little beer emoji with a question mark next to it. So it's a shortcut. Okay, so let's do a demo here. So I'm going to get out of my presentation and I am going to get into my email. Jennifer, I cannot share my screen. Can you? Okay. There we go. All right. Let's go to my desktop here. All right. So let me open up my email. Okay. So this is one of my email accounts. Actually, this is the email account for my parents. I manage their finances and a lot of their affairs. So I've opened up an email address for them. And this is Gmail. So again, the demonstration I'm going to be giving you is through Gmail. But Yahoo and AOL and all the other services basically function the same way. I'm not going to show you how to send an email, compose an email. I'm assuming that you all know how to do that. So we're going to skip that. But what I do want to show you, which is really helpful, is creating folders to manage your email. So over on the left-hand side, I have my various folders. I've got my inbox folder, my sent folder, drafts, spam, trash. And then I've got other folders that I've created. AARP, Chase, Citizen Bank, Democrat and Chronicle, and so on. So how do I create a folder in Gmail? The very bottom here, it says more. If I click on that, it's going to show me more items. And if I go to the very bottom, it says create new label. I'm creating a new label for a new folder. So I click on create new label. It says, okay, what do you want to call your folder? So in this case, I'm going to call my folder test ABC. I can call it anything I want, but I'm going to call it test ABC. I hit create, and now I have a folder called test ABC. And I can move my email by simply dragging and dropping. I click and drag that right into test ABC. And now it's out of my inbox folder and it's in my test ABC folder. So any email that I want to move, I can click, select it, hold it down and drag it to any one of these folders. If I want to move it back, I can open up the folder. If I want to move it back to my inbox, I can just simply click and drag it back to my inbox. And now it's back into my inbox. It's also in my test ABC folder as well. So it's in two places. If I want to delete a folder, See these little 3 dots that come up when I mouse over? This is just a general rule here. Whenever you see 3 stacked dots or 3 stacked lines, that means if you click on it, it's going to drop down a menu of items. So if I want to edit this folder, I've got those 3 dots. I click on those 3 dots. And here I can remove the label. I can edit it. I can rename it. I can add a color. I can do whatever I want. In this case, I'm going to remove it. So I'm going to click on Remove Label. It says, are you sure you want to remove it? Because it will delete everything in that folder. So I hit delete. And now my test ABC folder is gone. So again, that is under the More section on in this column over here. And you may have to scroll down to see that. A lot of this is kind of another thing that I find that a lot of people, when they open something up online, they go to a website, they open an email, whatever, they only look at what's in front of them. Lots of times you got to scroll down to see what it is that you're actually looking for. Okay, how do I attach a file to an email? The number one thing that you have to know is you have to know where the file is located on your computer. In order for you to attach a file, a photograph, a Word document, whatever it might be, that file lives somewhere on your computer and you have to know where it lives. So let me show you an example here. So if I wanted to, I've got a photo right here on my desktop of my 2 friends here. That photo is on my desktop. I know that because I know that's where it's located. But for me to attach it, I have to know where it is first before I can attach it. So I'm going to go up to Compose, because I'm going to compose a new email. I'm going to type in the email address of who I'm going to send this to. I'm going to type in the subject. I'm just going to type in test photo. I'm just going to make this up. Hi, Dan. Please see the attached photo I took the other day. Thanks, Dan. So I'm emailing myself. So I've typed my message. I have referenced that I'm going to attach a photo. And here's my paperclip right here. I click on the paperclip. And then the next window that comes up basically is saying, okay, Daniel, where is this photo? Where is this file? So I have to know where it is. I know that the file is on my desktop. And I know that the file name is 2741 blah, 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 blah. So when I click on that, let's see. When I click on it, I hit choose, and then there's the file. There's the photograph right there. I can't see it, but the person at the other end is going to be able to see it. So from there, I hit send. If I don't hit send, the email will get stuck in my drafts folder. I hit send. The email has now been sent. And it tells me that the email has been sent. And if I want to double check, I can go in my sent folder and see that it's been sent. So that's how you attach a file. Now, again, depending on how it's going to be a little bit different in Yahoo or AOL or Roadrunner. They're all going to be a little bit different, but what you're looking for the most part is looking for this paperclip icon. And that icon might not be at the bottom. It might be at the top. Okay. Oh, let's see. Anything else with an email? I showed you how to create folders, how to send an attachment. You know what? We'll get out of here, and we can always go back if you've got specific questions regarding email. What else? Oh, blind CC, BCC. Okay, let me go into my other email. Oh, you know what I want to show you too? This is another thing that's very handy. So I have multiple email accounts. I think I have probably 5 different email accounts. And you say to yourself, Daniel, why do you have 5 email accounts? That's crazy. How do you manage all that? But the reason I have 5 email accounts is because I get a ton of email. I have an email account for my teaching business. I have an email account for my design business. I have an email account that I use to communicate with just my 6 college buddies. I have another email account that is kind of my catch-all that kind of does everything else. The reason I have those 4 different accounts is if I had one email account and all that email was coming into a single account, I'd never be able to find anything because there'd be tons and tons of email. So by having 4 different email accounts, I'm actually able to manage my email much better because everything that comes into my teaching email is just regarding teaching. Everything that comes into my buddy's email account is just my 6 college buddies. So what you can do within your browser is I've got, if you could see right along my browser here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 email accounts all open at the same time. And if I want to go to my my email account for my parents, I can just click on this tab, and now I'm in the email for my parents. If I want to go to my teaching email, I just click on this tab, and now I've got just my teaching email. If I want my design email, I click on this tab, and now I just have my design email. It's very, very, very organized. So I always recommend that people have at least 2 email accounts. One that you give to family and friends only. You don't give it to anybody else. You don't give it to businesses. You don't give it to anybody except the friends and family that you want to communicate with. And then you have another email account that you use to buy things, to sign up, to register for websites, and so on. The beauty of that is if you have an email account and you dedicate it to just a few people, you're not going to get any junk mail. You're not going to get any spam. The email account right here that I have, this is the email account that I have for my 6 college buddies. I don't get any spam or junk at all because the only people that have that email account are my 6 college buddies. That's it. So it's a really good way of organizing your email, is having multiple email accounts. It all depends on how much email you get. Okay, we'll stop there. I can always go back at the end here. Let's go back to the presentation here and pick up where we left off. Okay, next, let's talk a little bit about email on your smartphones. I don't know how many of you have a smartphone, but more and more of us have smartphones and are managing our email and doing email on our smartphones as well as other devices. We have multiple devices. So when it comes to smartphones, today in 2022, there's primarily just two players, Android and Apple. Those are kind of the two smartphone, what are called platforms. There used to be Blackberries, Windows, Microsoft, I should say. Microsoft made a smartphone for a while, but Microsoft no longer makes smartphones. And BlackBerry, I'm sorry, BlackBerry just stopped manufacturing. They're out of business. So there's only two types of smartphones, Android and Apple. Now, with Android, you might have a Samsung, or you might have an LG, or you might have a Sony, or you might have a Acer. There are hundreds, there's 1,300 different manufacturers of Android phones. There's only one iPhone, and that's from Apple. So that's a big difference between these two. Android, there are thousands of Androids. There are only 8 iPhones. So when it comes to managing your email on your smartphone, both of these devices have a built-in app that can handle your email. This is what the app looks like on an Android, and this is the Mail app on your iPhone. You can use either one of these. Again, depends on whether you have an Android or you have an Apple. But I could use this built-in Mail app to manage my email, but I don't. I'm a big fan of downloading the specific app for your particular email. So what do I mean by that? If you have a Gmail account, I recommend that you download the Gmail app. If you have a Yahoo account or an AOL account or an Outlook, Hotmail, or MSN account, I recommend that you download these individual apps for your specific email provider. The reason is because there are additional features and benefits for each one of these that these apps don't provide. Okay, I'll just use the iPhone for example. If you have an iPhone and you use this to manage your email, that's perfectly fine. Okay, but this manages all email the same. So if you have an AOL email or a Gmail or a Yahoo, this app manages every email provider's email the same. And you miss out lots of times on the benefits and some of the features that come with the individual app for that service. So I recommend if you have a Gmail account, download the Gmail app and so on. That's my recommendation. So let's do a quick smartphone email demo here. Okay, so I've got my iPhone plugged into my computer, so you can see what's on my smartphone here. I've got lots of apps. I got lots and lots and lots and lots of apps. I do have my Mail app that comes built in with my iPhone, but I don't use it. Instead, I use my Gmail app because I have a Gmail account. If I had a Yahoo account, I download the Yahoo app. The number 9 here does not refer to how many emails I have in my Gmail account. It refers to how many unopened emails I have. So lots of times, this number is huge. Your number might be 600. The largest number I saw was like 415,000, something like that. So that 9 refers to 9 unopened emails. If I tap on that Gmail, it opens up my Gmail and it brings me right to my email that is in on my phone. Here is the photo that I emailed myself. And what I can do, because I have multiple Gmail accounts, I can manage all my 5 or 6 Gmail accounts through one Gmail app. So if I tap on these 3 lines, and again, 3 stacked lines means if I click on it, it's going to drop down a menu. If I click on that, I can go to all my various email accounts, and here they are. So these are my various email accounts, and I can just tap. If I want to get into this email account, I can just simply tap on it and get into that email account. The way I've got it set up is I have it set up for all inboxes. So what that means is this email is actually going to one of my 5 email accounts. Each one of these is going to a different email account, but they're all Gmail. They're all managed in my Gmail app. If I want to open up that email, I can tap on it. There's the photo that I just emailed myself. If I want to delete it, there's my trash can. Or I can simply, if I want to delete an email, I can simply swipe my finger from right to left and it's gone. If I want to delete this email without opening it, I can basically clean this up really quickly just by swiping my finger and going down this list. Swipe, delete, swipe, delete, swipe, delete. It's gone. So like you know, I receive emails that I don't even want to open. I know who they're from. Lots of times they're junk. I don't even want to bother opening them. So if I don't want to bother opening them, I just swipe and hit delete. If I want to delete multiple emails at the same time, I can tap on the round symbol here, and then it puts a check mark. And I can basically just go down the list here, skip the ones that I want to save, and just go down and go boom, 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 check, check, check. And I can skip the ones I want to keep and then hit the trash can. And I've just deleted 14 emails just by going boom, 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 boom down the list. So there's multiple ways to delete an email and to manage your email. Again, I use Gmail, so I downloaded the Gmail app onto my phone. And because I have that, I have access to all these different settings. Where are they? I have to go all the way to the bottom here. So I've got settings here. And in here, I can set up specific settings for each individual email account. I'm not going to go through that today because there's no point in doing that right now. Okay, let me get out of there. And let's see. Let me just check my time here and see how much time we got left. We got 15 minutes. So what I'm going to do real quick is I do want to talk about phishing scams. So let's talk about that. Wow, this 90 minutes went by really fast. So email safety. Phishing, you might have heard this term. Phishing, which is similar to fishing in a lake, but instead of trying to capture fish, phishers attempt to steal your personal information. Phishing emails that are sent out appear to come from legitimate websites, such as popular retail stores, banks, financial institutions. Many times these phishing email scams will ask you or will state that your account has been compromised or someone has hacked into your account. They may ask you for you to enter your email or your username, your password. Some go even further. Some will say, your Chase credit card has been hacked. Type in, reply with your credit card number and your social security number, and we'll take care of it. It's all a scam. No legitimate business is ever going to ask you to send them personal information through email. They just simply won't do it. If they do, don't do it. And when you receive an email from a questionable email, check the address of where the email's coming from. I've got a couple of short videos, and then I'm going to show you how to do that very quickly.
Phishing emails are a form of spam that attempt to trick people into providing personal information. Sometimes these fraudulent emails can look pretty official. Here are a couple of things to watch out for. Be careful about emails that ask for sensitive information. Most legitimate businesses will never ask for information like your bank account or social security number via email. Make sure the sender's address matches who the email appears to come from. You can click Show Details to see the sender's actual address. In this case, this email looks like it's from someone from Google, but the email address doesn't look very official. If it were really from Google, it would have been sent from someone at google.com. Lastly, if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Think twice before replying to any email that asks you for personal information.
You've probably seen it. You receive an email from your bank or trusted company, and it's asking you for information. It looks real, but it's designed to fool you into handing over important information. This is a scam called phishing, and you need to avoid it. Most of us have gotten used to doing business online. We buy and sell things. We have accounts with sensitive information. The risk of doing business online is low, as long as you deal directly with organizations you trust. Problems occur when criminals impersonate these organizations and fool you into handing over sensitive information like account numbers, passwords, and PIN numbers. The key to avoiding this scam is awareness. Here's one example. You receive an email that looks like a trustworthy message from a bank. It asks you to click a link to verify information. You assume it's legit, so you click the link and log in to what appears to be your bank's website. At this point, the scam is complete. You've handed over your bank password to the crooks who can use it to take your money. Boo! They were able to fool you by impersonating the bank's website. There are a few keys to detecting phishing emails. They often try to scare you by saying your account has been accessed or security has been compromised. They also insist that you click a link to verify information or fill out a form. Do not click links or fill out forms in suspicious emails. The email may also have misspellings and call you something like valued customer. The crooks don't know your name. Remember, phishing emails may use the exact same logos, phone numbers, and addresses that appear on your statements or bills. Always be suspicious of an email that asks for your information. No exceptions. If you receive a phishing email, stay calm. There's no risk to receiving it. Just delete it. You can also safely report it by forwarding it to reportphishing@antiphishing.org or spam@uce.gov. If an email does lead you to a suspicious website, remember to look at the web address. The address in your browser should look familiar. If you suspect that criminals have your information, immediately contact organizations where you have accounts. To protect yourself in the long run, you might also consider anti-phishing software. Further, check your online accounts and credit reports regularly, and quickly report anything that is out of place. Phishing scams are a growing threat on the internet. By being aware of the scam, you can feel confident in working with companies online. Yay!
Okay, let me show you real quick, and then we're going to wrap up. Let me show you just some examples of some phishing scams. I actually have a folder that I created over here called Scams and Phishing. So let me show you some of these that I've received. I actually received an email from one of my in-home students asking me what I thought this email that he received was legitimate. So let me, this is my friend, or this is one of my students, Bill Pruitt. He said, "Hi, Daniel, holiday cheers. Just checking with you to see if you think this is a wise expense." So he got this email below here. And it says, "This is to inform you that your annual membership for your Nort Xfinity software needs to be renewed for $437. Okay. He doesn't have Nort Xfinity software because it doesn't exist. It sounds like Norton. Okay, Norton is a very popular antivirus software, but it's So what I would automatically do is I go up and I see who it's coming from. If this is coming from a legitimate business, it wouldn't be coming from some name Pearly Hamill at 7753@gmail.com. That's not legitimate. Let me show you another one here. Oh, great thing about Gmail is Gmail keeps track, Google keeps track of fraudulent emails. So if there's a very popular fraudulent email out there, they will flag it for you. So I received this email in my inbox and it said, "Hey, we just want to let you know this email might be dangerous." Again, I look at the email address of who it's coming from. I don't recognize this at all. If I don't recognize it, I'm not gonna do anything with it. Oh, this is an email. This is a scam email I got. The subject of this email is "Your love won't like it," and it says, "Sorry for disturbing. Your partner cheats on you with my boss. I can send you their photos if you pay me $230. I've created a Bitcoin address, blah, 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 blah. Don't tell anybody that you received this message. I don't want to be catched." So right off the bat, there's misspellings. And secondly, at the time I got this email in 2019, I wasn't married. So I know it's not true. Okay. But what I'm always looking at is I'm looking at who it's coming from. Always look. And lots of times you'll get an email that says, "Oh, from Rebecca." I know Rebecca, but it might not be the Rebecca that you know. So always look at the email address of who it's coming from. There's the email address. I do not recognize this Rebecca. Okay, I'm going to stop there. And I'm going to turn it over to Jen to see if we've got any questions that we want to answer.
All right, I'm not seeing anybody, but I encourage folks to add to the chat any questions that come up that you may have. I didn't see any yet, but
I've got here.
Do you have some? Maybe it's because you were the host during that time.
Probably. Okay, one question here from says, does syncing different devices take care of the Roadrunner issue with emails? Syncing devices. I don't believe it's going to. I think you're going to run into the same problem. If you have Roadrunner email on one device and you have the same account on the other device, the email is not in sync with those devices because Roadrunner and Frontier use older forms. Again, I use the word archaic. They use archaic form of email. The platform is completely different. So I encourage anyone that has a Roadrunner or Frontier email address to get a Gmail or Yahoo or AOL or get some type of cloud-based email address, especially if you have multiple devices.
So we had Edison asked, what about the 2011, 2013 category? Not certain what he's referring to, but maybe you know, Daniel.
I'm not sure what that.
Okay.
I don't see that.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
I've got.
Could we? Can
So I've
we?
got some.
Edison, just write in the chat what your clarification is, but we'll move on to the next question. Could we
Okay.
get those anti-phishing email addresses again, please? Or I think they were URLs, correct?
Yeah. So hold on. So I've got questions on my end, and you've got questions on your end. So
yeah. So you want to go first? That's fine.
Yeah. Let me. So one question said, "How do you change email addresses?" How do you change email addresses? You open up a new email address and you start using that email address. So you don't necessarily have to change email addresses, but you're basically going to open up a new email address with Gmail or Yahoo or something. You're going to open up a new account and you're going to start using that account. It's a total pain in the butt because you're going to have to notify all the people that you've changed your email address. And there's no really fun way to do that other than sending out a massive email, letting everybody know that you've changed your email account. It's not fun, but if you're getting tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of junk, okay, if you're an AOL user, because AOL was one of the first email services out there. If you're an AOL user and you've had AOL for 20 years, chances are you have a ton of junk mail every day. What I recommend that you do is just open up a new AOL account. You can have 50 AOL accounts if you want. On the iPhone, can the email contact list be isolated from the general contact list? When I opened my email on my iPhone, everyone I ever emailed showed up in my contact list. I only want people I call and text in my contact list. Okay, so it depends on how your contact list, if your contacts app on your iPhone is connected to your Gmail account, then those two are in sync. Okay, so whoever's in your Gmail account is going to be in your contacts app and vice versa. So that I'd have to show you. I can't really kind of explain that. Here is Edison's question. What about 2011, 2013 category? I don't know what that. Oh, it says in your Gmail list of categories. Okay. So what he's referring to is I have a folder called 2011 to 2013. Basically, that's a folder. There's emails that I have saved over the years. For whatever reason, I've wanted to actually save those emails. I've got emails saved from 2009, 2010. So I just created a folder and put any email that I want to save between the dates of 2011 and 2013 go in my folder called 2011 to 2013. So it's just a way of organizing my email. Could we get those anti-phishing emails again? I will at the very end. Is there a cost for the Gmail app? No. All email apps are free. So whether you use Yahoo or AOL or Gmail or Outlook, the app is free. Gmail service is free. Yahoo email is free. All of these email services are all free. Let's see. I get hundreds of emails in my mail account, in my Yahoo account. I only use Gmail for friends and family. I have set up lots of folders, but even sorting by sender to delete takes time. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But you're doing the right thing. You've got two email accounts. You've got one email account that you just use for family and friends, which probably means you don't get a lot of junk, don't get a lot of spam, and you still have your Yahoo account that you use for everything else. But creating folders is a way to manage your inbox if you save your emails. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan, and I strongly suggest that once you're done with an email, if you don't need that email, delete it. There's no reason to save it. All it's doing is adding clutter to your inbox. So delete emails when you're done with them. I have an iPhone. Is there a way to unsubscribe from junk mail? Let me show that at the end. Is there any way to get all your email addresses to your old email address automatically sent to a new email address? Yes, you can forward. You can set up email forwarding if you want. So if you keep getting email from Yahoo and you want those emails forwarded to your Gmail account, you can have those set up. I can't show you how to do it. There's not enough time to do it, but basically what you're doing is forwarding any email that comes into an old account. You can forward it to your new account. Does Google read your email and use it to send advertising? Yes. Yahoo, all these services read your email. Now, it does not mean that a person is sitting there reading your email. That's not what's happening. It's a computer, and the computer scans the content of your email, and based on the content of your email, you may receive advertising on the side, or when you go to a website, you might see an ad that pops up for something that was potentially in your email, but it's not an individual reading your email. So let me go back to these two questions. I'll show the demo. Let's see. One was unsubscribing from email. What the other one was? Oh, anti-phishing. Yeah. All right. So let me bring up the anti-phishing real quick. Oh, that was, you know what? That's in a video. That's part of this video. I'm not going to be able to pause it. If you want, I can send you those. Jen can send you those addresses in a follow-up email. Let's go back to what's the last one? Junk mail, unsubscribing. Yeah. How do you unsubscribe from email? Legally, by law, in the United States, if you receive an email, a solicitation from a company, you are given the choice to unsubscribe from that email. So let me open up. Let me just go here. I'm going to buzz through here really quick because I got to find one that I can use. All right, let me go to this one here from the Pew Research Center. If I open that up and I scroll down to the bottom, it says unsubscribe. So any email solicitation by law in the United States has to give you the option to unsubscribe from that email. Now, if it's not a legitimate business, they might not have an unsubscribe button, but they're supposed to. If I click on, which I'm not going to do because I don't want to unsubscribe from this, but if I want to unsubscribe from this, I click on unsubscribe, it's going to open up a window, and there might be some steps I need to take. It just depends on the company that's sending me the email. But basically, you click unsubscribe, it opens up a window, and then you just read what's on there. It might unsubscribe you automatically, or you might have to do some steps in order to unsubscribe. Now, if you're getting hundreds of emails a day, you're not going to want to go through and unsubscribe from all those emails because it's going to take forever. What you can do, if you're a Gmail user, one of the things you can do is when you, let's say I want to unsubscribe from this email, or I want to report it to Google as junk. I can click on the box next to it here to select it. And then there's a button here that says report spam. If I click on that, it basically says to Google, hey, Google, this is spam. Don't send it to me in the future. So you can do that. So you click the box next to it and you hit report spam. I do not know if Yahoo and AOL and the other ones have that feature or not built in.
Daniel, I just want to make sure, Kathy, did you get Kathy's question about the iPhone and email contact list? I think we might have missed that one.
I talked about the contact list. Yes, I did.
Okay.
It's too complicated to
Gotcha. Okay.
talk about today. Yeah, I
Understand.
Yeah, but basically it sounds like to me that your Gmail contact list and your contacts app on your phone are merged. And if they are, they're in sync. So you're, like you said, all these emails in your contact list or in your contact app are probably there, and you may not want them. So you might have to manually go through each one and delete them, the ones that you don't want. There's no really easy way to do it.
I think we had a couple of new ones at the bottom.
How can I sync my Gmail on my iPad and my iPhone? If you have your Gmail on your iPhone and you have the same account on your iPad, they are synced. They are in sync. Because your iPad doesn't hold the email. If you have a Gmail account, none of your email lives on your iPad or your iPhone or your laptop. All that email lives on Google's servers. So, so they're automatically in sync. An illegitimate sender could use the unsubscribe button to get a bad code into your machine. I don't know if that's a statement or a question, but I wouldn't doubt it. It's possible. I don't see any new ones.
I don't either.
Okay.
And in the remaining minutes, we just have a few minutes. Does anyone want to get a couple of last questions in? Put them in the chat.
Okay, let me go back to my pres here. We'll wrap this up. Didn't want to just let you all know that my next webinar will be next week, March 8th, and I'm going to be talking about digital photography, digital photos. Basically, how to help manage your photos on your smartphone, and how you can store, share, get prints made, and so on through your photos on your smartphone. I'm going to be talking about photography and digital photos with your smartphone. I'm not going to be talking about digital cameras because most of us don't use digital cameras anymore. Most of us use our smartphones for that. So hopefully I'll see you all again on next week for that.
And just a reminder, if folks didn't register for this series, they only registered for the March 1st, please go ahead and do the series, because then we can send you the invitation to the following seminars that are part of the series.
Right. Well, I just want to thank you all for joining us. I hope you learned something new. If you've got any particular questions, you can always email or call me directly. And I know that Jen is going to be sending a follow-up email, I believe, with the link, correct, to this Zoom?
Yes, we'll send out a follow-up email with a link with the recording as well, so you can check back actually and see those websites that you missed will be a part of the recording, and a survey. So we'll thank you in advance for filling that out and helping us to improve for future series.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thanks, folks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.